Hey folks, Jamie here. Thank you for tuning in. Before we get started, I would like for you to take a moment and go down below and hit the like and subscribe buttons. Maybe leave a comment. If you're really feeling generous, maybe share this video to your social media feeds. What that does is make it a lot easier for other people to find a moment of Tiki. I really appreciate it and it helps out a lot. Thanks. Now, on with the show. Welcome to another episode of Moment of Tiki, coming to you from the Lagoon of Mystery, my home tiki bar here in Central Texas. As I record this, it's late September, and we have just come off Negroni Week. Negroni Week is a nationwide, worldwide event that celebrates the Negroni, one of the most popular cocktails in the world right now. Negroni is named after Count Camillo Negroni, who was a world traveler, adventurer, flamboyant personality from the previous century. He spent some time in the United States working as a cowboy. He traveled the world, and one of his most favorite cocktails, well, not one of the most favorite, his favorite cocktail was the Americano, which was composed of bitter Campari, vermouth, and topped with sparkling water, seltzer water. Legend has it, when he returned to Italy, he wanted an Americano, but he wanted it punched up. He wanted it a little more potent, so he asked his bartender to substitute the sparkling water with gin, and the Negroni was born. It took a while for it to become popular, but it is safe to say that in modern bar culture, Negroni is one of the single most popular cocktails in the world. That's all fine and dandy, but you're sitting there saying, okay, Jamie, so what? What does Count Negroni, what does the Negroni have to do with Tiki? Campari, vermouth, gin, that's not a Tiki cocktail. And you are correct, but there is a variation of the Negroni called the Kingston Negroni, which substitutes the gin and replaces it with a funky, hogo-laden Jamaican overproof rum. And that, my friends, is what we're going to talk about today. The Kingston Negroni was invented in 2009 by Joaquín Simó at Pouring Ribbons, a pretty famous craft cocktail bar in New York. And what Simó did was take Campari, which is a bitter Italian aperitif. It's an amaro. They have a lot of sugar in it, so they're sweet, but a lot of bittering agents. So it's really pungent. It started off as an aperitif, a digestif. It was something people would drink to either settle their stomach or spur their appetite. And Americans started using it in cocktails as a mixing ingredient. Vermouth. Vermouth is a fortified aromatized wine. There's herbalness to it, and it's also a little stronger than most wines you will get, and it's used as a flavoring agent. And at Pouring Ribbons, they used Smith & Cross. Smith & Cross is an overproof rum. It is funky. It's got that hogo, comes from a secondary fermentation. It has a lot of esters it gives off. Traditionally, it reminds people of overripe banana, possibly pineapple. Smith & Cross is not a brand from a specific distillery, even though the rum used in it is produced by Hampton Estates. It is bought and mixed and packaged by Smith & Cross out of London. Now, I could just take this opportunity to make a traditional Kingston Negroni, but I got to thinking, you can see that anywhere. And it's a very simple cocktail because it's equal parts. 1 ounce rum, 1 ounce vermouth, 1 ounce Campari. But Is Smith & Cross the best rum for a Kingston Negroni? When Smith & Cross first came out more than a decade ago, there weren't many, if any, Jamaican rums on the US market that had that funky hogo essence that people crave so much these days. So I said, why don't we have a shootout? Why don't we pit some of the most famous, funkiest Jamaican rums against each other and see which one is the king of the Kingston Negroni? So in addition to Smith & Cross, the challengers are Wray and Nephew Overproof, the grandfather of them all. This is the single most popular rum in Jamaica. It is most famous for the Wray and Ting. It outsells everything else in Jamaica. And prior to the arrival of Smith & Cross, this was pretty much the funkiest rum you could get in the US market. Next is Rum Bar Overproof, a relatively new arrival in the funky rum scene. It comes from Worthy Park Estates, which has a number of excellent rums, but this one packs a punch. Finally, stop me if you see it coming, Rumfire. Rumfire is probably the most pungent, most potent, most beloved by bartenders when they're looking for that really rich, overproof hogo punch for a cocktail. And that's what we are going to do now. We are going to use these and make Kingston Negronis and figure out once and for all which one has the best combination of rums. Okay, so here we go. Traditionally, a Negroni is a cocktail that is stirred, so we are using a separate mixing glass, in this case a simple mason jar. The idea with a high-proof cocktail is that you don't want it to dilute too much with water, and you don't want it aerated. Therefore, you stir it in a glass rather than shaking it in a shaker. First up, 1 ounce Campari. Oh yeah, bitter. 1 ounce of vermouth. Generally Italian vermouth. Italian vermouth is sweeter, broadly speaking, and French vermouth is drier, broadly speaking. And Smith & Cross, 1 ounce right here. Nice and funky. Take our bar spoon. Please don't judge me on my technique. I'm not a professional. And we will take the Hawthorne strainer and we will, whoops, almost forgot. Pardon my faux pas, but we need a large single rock of ice in the glass. We use a single rock to chill it, but not to dilute it very quickly. It has less surface area than crushed ice, therefore melts much more slowly. Replacing the ice, so we do not have cross-contamination in this experiment. Next, Wray and Nephew. Same process. 1 ounce Campari, 1 ounce vermouth, 1 ounce of Wray and Nephew. Let's see how this classic holds up without King. Nice. Rum bar. The suspense is killing me. Rum fire. Woo. Now comes the moment of truth where we put theory to the test. We're going to start off with the classic, the basic, the original, Smith & Cross Kingston Negroni. Nice and bitter, as expected. I like a Kingston Negroni a lot more than a traditional Negroni. That Smith & Cross just gives an added depth. The flavors are more rounded, if that makes any sense. You still have that long Campari finish on the back end, but it's almost caramelized, really rich, decadent, just about, without overt sweetness. There's Ray and Nephew. It's lighter in color because, well, Ray and Nephew is clear and Smith & Cross is darker. Smell the Campari. A little vermouth, but Ray and Nephew isn't making its presence known on the nose. Oh. Definitely lighter, a little sharper, closer to a traditional Negroni. Almost citrusy notes that you might come up with in gin. It's crisp, it's crisper. Not as complex, not as much depth of flavor. Now, Rum Bar Overproof. Again, a lighter color that you would get with a traditional Negroni, seeing how most gin is clear. Okay, big difference here. Rum Bar, I'm getting a big punch of overripe pineapple. And that's one of the esters that Rum Bar Overproof is known for. It's very distinctive. Wow. It's super, super strong aroma coming up. It's overcoming, whereas I could definitely smell the Campari and parts of the vermouth over Ray and Nephew. I don't smell any of those. All I smell is Rum Bar Overproof. Ooh. Rum Bar Overproof definitely dominates. It's got the pineapple notes. There's also papaya. Some earthiness. There's some funk to it, and I've been using funk just broadly speaking. An almost brininess, undercurrents of strawberries. This is reminding me almost of a Haitian clarine going on here. There's all sorts of tropical notes, but a lot of deeper, briny, almost olive-like saline qualities to it as well. Wow. Finally, Rum Fire. I've used Rum Fire a lot in various cocktails, so I think I know what to expect, but this is a combination I've not ever tried before. But not really getting the overripe bananas on the nose. That's leather. Western leather, chaps, saddle, vest. Kind of a dustiness. I'm picking up Old West here. It brings to mind rodeo. in my misspent days as a reporter, I covered more than my share of rodeos. Let's see what it tastes like. Son of a bitch if it doesn't have that same flavor notes. I'm tasting leather, some tobacco. Very, very faint banana notes. If I didn't know any better, I'd be thinking I'd be, some type of over oak bourbon. Wow. That is completely and totally unexpected. There's tobacco notes, leather, lots and lots and lots of leather, oak. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Okay, wasn't expecting that outcome, folks. That is lunatic. Okay, so, wow. This kind of blows my mind. I wasn't expecting these results. All in all, I think I gotta go with Smith & Cross as the original and the best. As far as a Kingston Negroni goes, the Smith & Cross plays really well and is balanced. If you're not into the Jamaican hogo funk scene and you want something that drinks a little bit more like a traditional Negroni, I recommend the Wray & Nephew. It's not a one-to-one parallel with gin, but I think the profile most closely matches a traditional gin Negroni. I really enjoyed the heck out of this. Rum Bar brought a whole lot to the table. It's a lot more complexity, a lot more depth, a bigger amplitude of flavors. You have the fruits, you have the brines, and everywhere in between. If you are not a fan of the Haitian clarins, then you might want to pass on this. Just strawberry notes, papaya, the overripe pineapple, as I said before, all of those stand out. It's really an interesting one, and if you have a bottle of Rum Bar Overproof handy and you like to experiment and try new things, I highly recommend this. This is a really close second to this. And then Rum Fire. Wow, what can I say? Never in a million years would I have expected this. If I took this and served this to 100 rum aficionados, I'll bet 99 would have no idea, would not be able to guess that I had used Rum Fire in there. It is just completely, it's not just more than the sum of the parts, it is completely different from the sum of the parts. This is like trying to start out with a quadratic equation and coming out with the Gettysburg Address. This is just completely and totally bizarre and unexpected and wonderfully delightful. It's like an Old West Negroni. Go figure. Maybe that's with Count Negroni. I'm at a loss for words. It's just nuts. So this has been a major learning experience for me, and I'm hoping it's been a major learning experience for you. And all I can say is, if you have a spirit of adventure in you, get out there and try new and weird things. Until next time, from the Lagoon of Mystery, aloha. Welcome to another episode of Lagoon of Mystery, coming to you from... No, that's not right.